feels so abstract. Yeah, it's complicated what you say, the way you act. Well, it makes me so confused. I don't know what to do anymore. Can't you just make up your mind? My heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't wanna think about it right now. Maybe you just wanna be friends, but there's a fight when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting, still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be.
Hi, friends. This is Caitlin. I am so happy to be here with you for the Cardmaker Success Summit. It's just so exciting to know that everybody is here. And I hope that you, if you haven't had a chance to watch my video yet, my class yet, that you will today. I know it's kind of a crazy morning so far. But yeah, I'm Caitlin from Caitlin Annalee Cards. My special card project today with the summit is how to add a glow to your wintry scene. So for anyone who hasn't gotten to see it yet, this is my class page. And so I wanted to share a technique that would work not only for the holidays, but for all of your winter card making needs. And so I went a little more winter than holiday with my little sweet snowman there. And I'm sharing two techniques in one. So not only adding that glow with my Copic markers, creating that lantern light on the snow, but also some shortcuts with like your sky and adding ink blending into your scene so that you have more time to spend on your coloring and that glow detail and less time worrying about some of the filler in the background. So yeah, it's super fun. I also want to let you know that in my supplies list link, there is some special information for a very limited time code that will get you some discounts and freebies over with Sweet November stamps. Those are the stamps that I use for my whole card. So if any of those items speak to you, please go check out that supplies list and then make sure you also download the worksheet, especially if you have that free pass. You don't want to lose out on that instruction. You can come back to it later. So it's really exciting. This is my, I believe, 6th or 7th summit, which is just crazy to think. But thank you guys so much for all of the support always. And if you are new to me, you can find me at Caitlin Annalee Cards. That's on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I think I even have a Pinterest, although clearly I don't post there a lot. But I'd love to have you come hang out with me. I post videos every Friday over on Instagram, and Halloween is my favorite time of year. So it's about to pick up and be extra fun there. Also, fair warning, I'm in a hotel. My family and I needed to travel this weekend. And so I don't have like my card or my little craft station to share with you guys, but I just had to still be here and come hang out with you. The lives are my favorite part. So this is a Q&A. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I do see some people checking in the comments already. Thank you so much for that. Hannah said she loves making Halloween too. So I'm glad to know that I have some friends out here with me. Let's see. Connie said, I learned so much from your class. I appreciate you talking us through each step. I feel more confident. Oh, Connie, thank you so much. I love the summit because it lets me put a longer version out there. Normally my YouTube videos, I try to keep them shorter so that they're easier to watch, but I love that the summit gives us the time to really walk you through the steps. So it makes my heart happy that that came across for you. Thank you. Let's see. Suzette said, I totally enjoyed watching you make your card. Not sure if I can do what you did, but you made it look easy. I really think if you can practice adding in that ink blending to certain parts of your scene, it makes the time so much, it makes it easier to split your time and really take your time and go slow on that coloring. So definitely I would recommend trying that. It makes a huge difference for me, for sure. My go-to tool is probably my Misty. I know I've heard a lot of other people. I know Kathy Zilski says it all the time, but if I had to hand stamp everything, it would be bad. It would be bad. I wouldn't be probably card making still. Having my Misty to be able to lay out my scenes. If you watched my video already, you know, I lay out all of my stamps in one time at the beginning. So I have an idea of where everything's going to go. And then I build my scene one layer at a time to create that depth. And you can do it without a stamping platform, but it's so much easier if you have one. So it's a bit of an investment, I know, but I use it every single day. Well, every day that I card make, I use that Misty, even if I add in some hand stamping too, for sure. Copics have to have colors for a beginner. Do you have a list you'd recommend? So Carlos, I don't have an exact list. It depends on what you're coloring. So for me, I knew starting out that I wanted to color florals and I wanted to color people. That's where I started. So my first Copics were the R20s because I knew those would be pretty for florals, and the E-teens. So I got an E04 for some shadow work. It's like a pinky, purpley mauve color. And then E11, E13, E15. And that's where I started. Those were my first ones so that I could start working on skin tones and working on my shadows. And I built up my Copic collection. I still don't have them all, but I built them up by getting 2 to 3 color combos at a time, because for the way we use them with shading, getting one of those sets where you get one of every color isn't going to work because you're not going to be able to blend, right? Those are more for graphic style coloring. So my top tip is to go 2 or 3 at a time that you know will work together. And if you're not sure what's going to work together, I cannot recommend Sandy Allnock's hex charts enough. I have one for my Olos and my Copics, and they're a game changer because not all Copics just blend by the numbers that they set. The hex chart lets you see all the colors around a color that could work, and that'll help you start to build those connections through your blends. Oh, I see a lot of people loving the Misty. Suzette said, how do you come up with the ideas for coloring the specific ways that you do? I find, honestly, a lot of inspiration from other card makers. And I'm the person that if I'm scrolling my personal Instagram and I see someone post a sunset that's beautiful, or I'm out at the beach with my family and the sky looks really cool, or that's reflecting cool on the water, things like that, I take a picture, I screenshot them, and I then try to work them into a scene to see if I can kind of push myself to play with all of my products a little differently. So definitely, get that inspiration from other people, but also from everything around you, because that's the fun part to me, is trying to make it look realistic and inspired by real life. Love the adorable mask scene. Other than Copic paper, what other cardstock would you suggest for marker coloring? So for my Copics, I have used the My Favorite Things stamps, their marker paper, and I had good results. But my top one for Copics is my Copic Express It. And then with the Olos, I just started using those, and I found that my Copic paper is not great for how the ink disperses from those markers. So for that, I like Pink and Main's Ice Rink cardstock, which is just a good bright white heavyweight cardstock. So that's my favorite. And thank you to everyone that's answering how to spell Sandy Allnock's names in the comments. I appreciate you. I saw a question and then I see frantic answers back, and thank you guys for helping me out with that. What kind of ink do you recommend for stamping when coloring with markers? So my personal ultimate favorite that I've used for years now is the Honeybee Stamps Intense Black ink. And so far, all these things I mentioned are in my description or in my supplies list. silly me, in the supplies list. But that one, I've never had an issue with any bleeding, any smearing. You don't have to let it dry. There are some other marker safe inks out there. I started with Memento, but once I tried Honeybee and I saw how beautiful it stamped and how fast I could jump into my coloring, I honestly, that's what I'll grab every time. I always keep an unopened backup because if it ever runs out on me, I would lose my mind. It would not be pretty. Thank you for taking the time of your trip. Yeah, no, thank you guys for being understanding at this slightly strange setup. It's you guys were more of that priority for this for sure this weekend. So thank you. The attention to detail and step by step. Yeah, thank you, Rita. If you guys haven't found me before on YouTube, it's Caitlin Annalee Cards, and my goal is to start sprinkling in a couple longer videos. But if you like this type of scene work, I do have some longer, like almost half-hour long coloring videos. I've been posting for 3 years now. So if you go back, most of them are in the Sweet November Stamps like playlist on my channel. But I have multiple videos like walking you through every step. So you can definitely go get more of that content there if that's what you prefer, for sure. And if that's what you guys want to see, I'm open to doing more. Where do you find inspiration when it comes to designing my cards? To be honest, most of it comes from seeing the stamp sets. I am someone who, when I see a stamp set online, before I even decide that I want it, I start imagining different scenes or different scenarios of how I would use them and what other stamps I have that I could pair with them before I commit to getting that stamp set. Because I have making content and I work with multiple brands, I want to be very mindful of my time. And so if I can't envision at least a couple good scenes that I know I could build with a stamp set, I usually honestly pass over it. Because for me at least, and maybe it's not fair to say, because I'm sure it doesn't happen this way for everyone, but the images and scenes literally kind of pop into my mind when I'm inspired by a stamp set. And I forgot to mention that too. I work with Sweet November Stamps. I am on their design team. So keep that in mind when you're shopping on my supplies list, just to be open and clear about that. They didn't sponsor this or anything. This is just me with the summit, but I do work with them. You can also find me every Tuesday and Thursday live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern with Pink and Maine. And then also Purple Onion Designs, and yeah, that's it now. I was guest designing with My Favorite Things for a little bit, but they changed up their programs. So there's lots of places you can come find me, not just on my page. Some great shadowing techniques inspired me to pull out my markers later today and attempt with less frustration. Absolutely, Hannah. And if you find for shadowing specifically that you are missing a color or you wish it could go darker, I highly encourage you to grab either the complementary color to whatever you're using or the darkest or darker gray of any undertone to add in. So if I feel like my red isn't getting dark enough, I know I can grab like a G99. And if I add that in, because they're complementary, they're opposite on the color wheel, it's going to add in that extra layer of shadow for me without me needing a darker red. So don't be afraid to kind of play and have a little scratch piece of paper next to you so you can layer your colors and see what they're going to do. And I did see Harriet rooting for me. I am so close to being monetized on YouTube. So if you would like to go follow me over there, I'm within a couple hundred watch hours, and that would be amazing. Fran asked if I've used markers that aren't Copics. So I actually started with Spectrum Noir, but like the 2 ago version, and they did not do what I wanted them to do. And I think it was because of the nib. So I am a brush nib girly all the way. And then I have recently started using Olos, and I do like them, but I can't get the fine tip detail for some of my scenes or like my very detailed stamps. So for something like Sweet November, not always the best choice because they're very detailed. But I also, like I said, work with Pink and Main, and a lot of her stuff is like a little more cartoony, a little more cutesy, and some of them are a little like more bubbly. There's more space to color. So I find that they work great there, and I actually use them interchangeably. So like Copic and Olo both have a lot of room to fill in gaps in their purples specifically, and so I mix and match them. If one has a hole that, like if I can add one Olo into a blend of Copic that fills a purple gap for me, I'm going to do it every time. Why not use what you already have to your benefit, right? How much is the Pink and May machine? If you mean the mini mink, I believe it's $99. It comes with a big kit of stuff that goes with it, and that's for foiling. So I hope that helps. Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming to hang out. I'm so sorry we jumped in late. I had some technical hotel difficulties, but I appreciate you so much. Please come hang out with me over on my YouTube channel. It's Caitlin Annalee Cards. Check out that supplies list for those special limited time offers. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I will see you guys soon. And until next time, happy crafting, guys. Have a great weekend.